Back live with you tonight on In Focus, and thanks for staying on. The South African Catering and Allied Workers Union threatens indefinite strike action at retail giant Massmart if management does not respond favorably to demands for above-inflation increases. Saccawu demands include minimum pay of 8,000 a month and a 100 rands uniform allowance, a moratorium on the retrenchments, and an increase in working hours. For more on this, we are now joined by Mike Tau, Second Deputy President of the South African Commercial Catering and Allied Workers Union. Mr. Tau, good evening. Thank you very much for your time and for joining us today here on In Focus. What are the primary, maybe even secondary issues of disagreement where you are finding each other and where you are not finding each other currently with the employer?
Good evening, Tabo, and good evening to the viewers. We are actually very far apart from each other because of the company's doing. Our first demand when we started at 12% and 800 rands, whichever is the greater, and a minimum wage of 9,000, and an increase of working hours, and 100 rands for uniform allowance. But the problem, the major problem, other issues we believe that are not very difficult to settle. The problem is the offer of the company, which has been 4.5% all along with no rent value. Remember, if you put 4.5 into one salary, they are the lowest that would not, the increment will not take them anywhere. For instance, if what is 4% of 400 rands? 4,000 rands. What is 4% of 3,000 rands? For the lowest pay earning worker, 4% is nothing. And over the weeks, we've been trying to engage, but we couldn't meet each other. Last week, we received an invitation from CCMA. They wanted to intervene because by law, they are allowed to intervene if they feel like the strike it's an issue of a national question that might affect the country economically. So we met with them last week Friday, and last week Friday we revised our offer. We said we have moved from 12% to 7.5%, or 630, whichever works out the greater. The minimum wage we moved to 6,000. The company at that time, they requested us that they don't have a mandate. You must give them up until the 13th, which was Tuesday this week, to go and consult their principals. But however, when we met again on the 13th, they still said they don't have a mandate. They would go and consult their executives are sitting on the 19th, and we must meet the afternoon of the 19th. Unfortunately, yesterday morning they had some other ideas. They wrote letters to individual workers who are members that as far as they are concerned, negotiations for 2022 are now closed. And any member who wants to accept the offer that is on the table by the company, firstly, that member must resign from the union, and second, and if they don't, they would not get any increase, and they would not get 9 months back pay.
So the assertion that on Tuesday, members of the union presented new demands to the micromanagement, you're saying it's not true. There's nothing new that you presented on Tuesday that you didn't present on Friday.
No. There's nothing we presented. When we presented on Friday last week, they had us very well, and it is unfortunate that they are using a propaganda as if it's the union that doesn't want to come to the table. If that was the truth, we couldn't have accepted the Section 150 twice and allow them to go and get a new mandate twice. So we disagree that we brought new demands.
Yeah. Let me read what they're saying here. The company has tried in good faith to reach an agreement, but the union negotiators appear to be divided. Are you divided?
No, there's no such. There's no such that we are divided. We are not divided.
Are there some within your membership who want to accept the current offer?
No. There's no one amongst our membership who wants to accept the current offer.
Now then, reflect for us in terms of where you are sitting now, having seen those letters you're saying that were given to some members to say, well, this negotiation for 2020 has been closed, accept the offer. In fact, if you want to accept the offer, resign from unions. What's your next move?
No, our next move is to intensify our action. Remember, today, what we did for the first time in the history, that we were successful to actually apply and give the notice for secondary strike for subsidiary companies of Massmart, which will include your Game, your Cambridge, Jumbo, Cash and Carry, Rhino, and Builders Warehouse. We had all those participating in an action as a solidarity support for our members in macro. So we are intending that on Monday afternoon we'll be meeting as negotiators and the national office bearers of the union to assess the situation and map the way forward as to what is that you are going.
Yeah, so the employer seems to say that typically this kind of action has very, very little impact on the trading. In fact, they say during past strike action, they have found that they can run the macro stores more efficiently, actually with fewer people, and they would be able to deploy trained temporary employees to the stores as required. So do you think your actions will have any direct impact on the employer? Will they be moved at all?
Yeah, you see, if that was the case, the employer couldn't have been playing a tactic and a propaganda, trying to lure our members or us to be on their side if the strike was not affecting them. We are a very experienced union in this sector. We know for the fact that the strike affected the employer in many ways. You strike for one day, you bring 400 people for that day, and then your 400 people are outside, and on that day you will pay your 400 people who are outside, who are inside, and in the next 2 days again you pay your entire. So you have actually lost, and we are aware of the information that we've been told that they have lost up to 72 million for the only 3-day strike that took place on the first strike. And we are told that on the strike of one day for the second of this month, they have lost something like between 30 to 48 million. It's not true. They won't say to you the strike is affecting them because they just want to bring the thick skin.
Mike Tau, appreciate your time and thanks for coming on. That is Mike Tau, Second Deputy President of the South African Commercial Catering and Allied Workers Union.